Hello and welcome to another episode of WebInformant.tv. I'm David Strom, your host and reviewer. Today we look at the area of online reputation reporting and management and review Secure Computing's TrustedSource.org and compare the information you can glean from this site with a few of its competitors. Let's first go to TrustedSource.org and look up a random domain, say Fidelity.com, and see what they report. You'll see this nice graphical display that shows you whether or not spammers have taken over the domain and what the overall reputation of the site is. In this case, they can be trusted and they're in the banking category. If you're checking your own site and you disagree with the categorization, you can click here and make suggestions on this page. Going back to the summary, you can see a list of the name servers based on information from top-level DNS data. Below that is another chart that shows you the volume of email messages and email servers that are sending emails on an hourly basis. This up and down variation is what you'd expect from a legitimate business, as mostly 9-to-5 workers in North America. Below this chart is additional information that can help you verify the authenticity of the domain, including when the domain was first registered and started sending emails. Spammers like to set up domains more recently, and variation in traffic from yesterday and whether the site uses one of a number of protective measures for its email, such as domain keys and sender ID. Finally is a list of sending IP addresses the service has logged. You'll note that the service has found more than 400 IPs for this domain. These are all IPs in the Fidelity.com domain and could be machines that are not intended to send email. There is a second tool called TrustedSource Intelligence that allows us to also search for spoofers. If you administer this domain, you can use both reports to track down any servers that shouldn't be sending emails here. There are links on the left sidebar to other resources, including recent Secure Computing blog entries, links to the latest malware threats, and this link to the top sending IP addresses for the last 24 hours, which I liked. There's also a lot of information about the storm worm in a special series of pages here. This worm is very much active and continues to morph into new exploits that involve thousands of zombie PCs. What does a suspicious site look like? Let's take a look at neelandnikki.com. Here you see several things that indicate that this is probably a spammer. First, they have this flatline graph that peaks in a day. The domain is relatively new, it's just started a few days ago, and this is why TrustedSource has flagged them as suspicious. Now let's show you from some of the other sites that offer similar service, or so they claim. We go over to senderbase.org, which is run by Cisco's Ironport Group. Here you see some of the same information, including sending IP addresses and some indication of the mail volume that originates from these IPs. Senderbase found 26 email servers and also shows you whether any of these are presently listed in the real-time black hole database, which can be an issue if you own this domain, as someone has flagged your server for sending spam. Senderbase also has real-time analysis of the top sending IPs. 90% of the world's email traffic is spam right now. This gives you an idea of who is sending most of it. You go over here and click on the IP addresses on the left, and it brings up this report. A third site has a small amount of information, is Blue Coat's site review that is shown here. We type in a domain that we're interested in looking for, get the briefest information about the type of business that the domain owner is in, without any of the sending IPs or traffic volume data that the other two services offer. Interestingly, when we submitted one of our own websites, strom.com, to their service, they characterized it as a shopping site, despite the fact that we don't sell anything on that site. Here's the email that we got back from them. Another service is offered by ComTouch IP Reputation, and you're seeing it here. You have to enter the numeric IP address and type in an annoying CAPTCHA before you can see the results. We typed in the IP and found that, to no surprise, that address is used by spammers. Another resource is the SANS Internet Storm Center at isc.sans.org. Has blog postings of current exploits, such as the breaking news emails that were circulating in the past couple of weeks. They have lists by IP port numbers that can be useful to correlate activities that you see in your firewalls. Finally, there's WebSense Security Labs that we're showing here. It doesn't have any specific information about a particular domain, but does have some pretty maps that aren't really of much use. What are your key takeaways from this tour of reputation services? First, you need to constantly stay on top of your online statistics and check these sites frequently, as the bad guys are constantly trying new exploits that can sully your good name. Second, TrustedSource is the best of the bunch, although you can get some good information from the others. Finally, consider a more thorough brand analysis that examines both web and email servers too. Thanks for watching webinformant.tv. This is David Strom. Feel free to send me comments at david@strom.com.